Okay, greetings everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Vormithrax, and today we're going to be trying out some Across the Obelisk. We have played this previously, but it's been a couple years. In the elevator pitch style of description, think of Slay the Spire with more of a D&D type of theme, atmosphere, setting, characters, and such. You also control 4 characters at once. So you have a party of characters, the classic warrior, rogue, cleric, and mage type of setup. It's very much Slay the Spire style. We're going to be moving across the map, node to node, picking combat points and adventure points. Lots of meta progression stuff. It's set up very much in a fail-forward roguelite type of gameplay, where you're going to be terrible and you're going to die a lot initially, but however long you make it through the particular quest line or storyline, further you get across the map, essentially, the more points you earn for your meta progression, which allows you to kind of level up your characters and your profile so that you'll slowly, incrementally get stronger and stronger with your characters, which will then push you further and further into progress across the maps, that kind of thing. In the time that I haven't played it, the last couple of years, apparently it's had a bunch of DLCs, which, from perusing the Steam forums and such, unfortunately it's a Paradox product, and they went full-on Paradox overload with DLC and, just predatory DLC content with minimal actual content and maximal payment. So we're playing just the base game. I'm not playing with any of the DLC or anything like that. I don't have any idea what's in the DLCs. I haven't really looked. We'll see just how much fun we can have and with the base game. And if I stay interested and you stay interested and you're wanting to see more of the gameplay, we'll keep pushing at it. So if you've never seen it before, sit back and enjoy. Let's go ahead and hit play. I reset my profile. Then I did a couple of runs to remind myself kind of the basics of how things work. So I have a little bit of progress on my profile at this point when you're going to see this. So let's go ahead and hit that. We're going to do adventure mode. I think I had to unlock these modes. I don't think these were available immediately. So there's lots of unlocks, lots of achievements, all that kind of stuff built in as well. I typically don't pay attention to a lot of that stuff in these kinds of games. We're just going to be doing adventure mode, unveil the history of Senenthia, discover new characters, unlock cards, and fight evil bosses in this roguelite adventure. That's another big thing about the gameplay is you unlock access to cards during a run, and those cards then become available in the pool of potential cards you'll get access to in your further adventures. So you get more powerful through that unlock system as well. It is a bit much in single player for controlling 4 characters. I find that it does seem to be more of, I don't know, it's just a lot. Keeping track of 4 different characters and their decks and their items and so on is a bit much. I'm sure lots of people are out there that enjoy that many things they have to think about and keep track of. But for me, it does feel a little bit much. We did play this in co-op mode previously 2 years ago, the last time I played with my friends Makem and Radar. So each of them controlled 1 character and I controlled the final 2 characters. I'd be happy to play it again in co-op if any of the regular crowd in the Vorm community, Vormithrax community, would be interested in doing some co-op of it. So we'll see how things go. If I enjoy it and you guys enjoy it, we might organize something like that. But yeah, we're just going to do this adventure mode. I'm not going to do a fully random roguelike. I'm not going to do weekly challenges right now. I have no idea what this one is. A new way to play the adventure. Heroes can only have 1 copy of any playable card and more unique rules. Okay, so that modifies the base gameplay in various ways that you can select. Yep, let's just go pure adventure mode. Okay, so single player game adventure mode. We pick a save slot. We'll just pick one there. And I'm not going to be reading a lot of the storyline stuff. I don't particularly care about most of that. Some of it's pertinent and I'll have to pay attention to, but a lot of it we're just going to skip right on past. Now, this is part of the roguelite progression mode. Before we go into our adventure, We have a few things we can do. My last run that I did off camera, I earned enough for my characters to get a couple of perk points. So we're going to go look at our perk points opportunities and see if we have enough to do anything interesting. There are a bunch of characters you can see down here. I've only got these base characters from the base game. Andrin, Evelyn, Magnus, and Reginald. Andrin's kind of a rogue ranger hybrid. Evelyn is an elemental mage. Magnus is a warrior. And Reginald is a cleric or healer. All of the other ones that show the lock symbol, most of them are DLC. So need to own the DLC, own the DLC. Some of these are unlocked, I think, through just normal play. Unlock new characters by completing quests. So yeah, we could earn Bree somewhere in the gameplay. All of those are unlockable. And that's DLC, DLC, DLC. Yeah, so we're going to see a lot of this DLC stuff mentioned and reminded and so on. Oh, there's even more. DLC. I mean, there seems to be quite a few that are unlockable. Yager. Well, DLC. All right. We also have options down here to apply madness settings. This is kind of like a ladder difficulty system where you finish a run on M0 and then that allows you to go through a run on M1 and you can just kind of progress your way down some various difficulty modifiers. We're not going to be doing any of that stuff right now either. So sandbox is another mode you can go to. You don't score anything. You don't unlock madness levels in sandbox, but you can modify and change all of these different settings to whatever you find fun in your own particular gameplay. So we're just going to be ignoring those and going straight on the adventure. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I'm not going to explain all the mechanics in detail. A lot of it I don't remember, but you'll get the gist of it. I mean, this is just showing our resistances to the different damage types for melee combat and range combat. So physical damage, I guess, in slash, blunt, and pierce. And then we have 6 different categories for other resistances: fire, ice, lightning, holy, shadow, and mind. And there's lots and lots of stats. I mean, we got character stats, health, energy, and our per turn rate, our speed of our character, blessings, resistances, our initial starting cards, you know, a lot of stuff. And this isn't going to be an how to play video, so I'm going to skip over a lot of this stuff. We have our ranks. I did achieve, I think, what rank? I'm rank 6 now. My characters are rank 6. So we did achieve this rank 4 starting item bonus. Another way that you get your character more powerful in the meta fashion as you go through. Now perks. Perks we have. All right. So where am I at? I've got 2 points to spend. So what it's showing me here is how many other characters have taken this particular upgrade. So this is our cleric. So he's done some healing perks. We require 6 spent points before we can apply any points to this line. So we got to pick a few upgrades somewhere else. I can't double up on ones I've already taken. Let's go ahead and get, guess we'll get him some health. And that'll be it. And so next time he gets some perk points, we'll be able to go into this next category down here. All right, confirm perk assignment. Get me out of here. And I forget how to... I don't want to be looking at that screen. Ah, there we go. All right, let's go to the next character. We'll go to Evelyn. Perk points. She's the elemental mage. And that applies the chill debuff to enemies. Makes it susceptible to my cold damage, basically. All right, sure. Let's get some magical block at the start of the round. Confirm, close, and switch to Andrin. Okay, let's do more block is always good. And I can't pick the next one of the archer options. Let's get resistances. Too many clicks to move between certain things. All right. Take the second point of armor, and let's get some more armor. That's our warrior guy. All right, so everybody's got their perks. I could also change which characters I'm taking with me if I had access to any other ones. We do not. We'll just be playing with the basic 4. We're all set. You can filter by the different types of classes. Don't care about the game seed. Let's begin our adventure. I'm going to skip the storyline stuff. Yeah. We have to go from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen. And that's the first area. Then you have a second area, and I think a third area. I forget how many total areas there are. I don't believe in any of my previous play I've gotten all the way through the entire set of maps. Especially in our co-op game. I think we might have made it to the second. Possibly we made it into the third map. I can't remember. I didn't go back and look at the previous episodes. So yeah. All right. We're ready to start. So we're starting over here at the tavern. And first step is to go into the town. The first thing you do on each map. So even when we transition to the next map, the first thing we'll do is go into town. Which gives us an option to now do upgrades. So we have, I think, 5 different locations. We can go to the forge where we can craft cards for our deck. We have a starting set of 15 cards that are tailor set up for each of the classes. And this allows us to, at the start of the run, purchase new cards, modify cards, etc. I don't have very much gold or crystal to start this run with, so I'm not going to... Well, we've got a little bit extra over here that we bring forward from our previous run. There's a stat which can be modified with equipment that dictates how much of your previous run's gold and crystals get carried forward. So I only carry forward like 10% of whatever I earned in my previous run. So I'm going to go ahead and claim that reward. That gets us up to 951 and 1225. I'm probably just going to bank this and carry it forward again. I probably should have left it in the chest just to kind of show you. I don't want to spend a huge amount of time on this screen. And this is where the overload of options comes into play. Now, I'm pretty nitty-gritty about my strategy games, and I usually enjoy this kind of stuff, but it takes quite a while, quite a bit of time to go through for 4 different characters and examine the cards in their deck, make decisions on any cards you want to remove, add, upgrade, modify, etc. It's a lot. And not without having already played the game a ton and being intimately familiar and just being able to say, all right, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do with Magnus here. I'm going to get rid of this starting card. I'm going to add these cards. I'm going to upgrade these cards. Yeah. Where it really shines is the multiplayer, and that's where I really enjoy doing the co-op. In that the decision set for each character was much narrower. So Radar and Makem each had one character. They could concentrate on that one character, make the decisions for that character. It divides the burden, the overload. So hopefully there's enough interest, because I do really enjoy this kind of gameplay. Hopefully there's enough interest that I can con some folks into doing some full co-op. I'd love to get one person for each character. That would be optimum, of course. But we'll see. So I played some Slay the Spire, the board game, semi-recently, and that kind of renewed my interest in this kind of gameplay style. So it's not my typical fare on the channel. I'm not sure I'm going to get enough general interest to warrant spending a whole bunch of time on it. So, make sure you're vocal if you enjoy this kind of gameplay, which we will get to the gameplay here sooner, hopefully, rather than later. Because I think I'm just going to go with the default cards and show you guys what the base game looks like. And then when we finish that run, next run, I'll get more involved in doing the upgrades and everything. But just to show you the options, here's the Magic Forge. I've currently got Magnus selected. This shows the cards for Magnus. So we have a list here and then the details here, and I can click to bring up what the upgrades are going to do. So we have the common card Blood Rain, has a casting cost of 0. It's a global effect. It's going to hit everything on the board at the time it's cast, and it's going to do a bleed on everybody, and it's also going to do a wet effect on everybody. And the wet effect has multiple significances. It prevents burn charges, and it removes burn from the target. So if all my guys are on fire, it might be better for me to take the one bleed effect, but the water putting out all the fire that my guys have accumulated. So there's benefits and negatives, and it's global. It'll also affect the bad guys. And then these are the upgrade options. So most things will upgrade in two different choices. So I could either turn it into this version of the Blood Rain, same cost, but it's going to go 2 bleed and 2 of the wet effect, as opposed to this one. And note here, it circled the particular change. It's only going to affect the monsters instead of affecting me. So it's going to give the monsters 2 bleed, all of them, instead of going global and hitting my guys also. And there's reasons why you would do that. So that's kind of the idea, and it's showing the cost down below. So I can switch between all of these. So I'm going to actually start playing, and I'll talk about the mechanics of the gameplay. I'm not going to do it in this section, but lots of filters in here. It's showing your energy cost and your averages between your cards, which is important to know in a classic card combat format, especially if you've done Magic the Gathering and all that other genre of card games. So we can see how many of each card we have, their cost to cast, and then the details. And it's the classic. You got defense cards, you got attack cards, you got modifier cards, you got resist cards, all sorts of stuff. All right. So let's not spend any time in here, but that's what this screen is for, specifically for purchasing cards to add to your deck. So we'll go ahead and exit out of here. Next, we have the Church. That lets you remove cards from your deck. You've got a strict limit of 15 minimum. You can't go below 15. So in order to remove cards, I would first have to add cards. That would then allow me to remove cards. So if I purchased more powerful cards, I could get rid of some of the basic cards. But 15 is the minimum. Then we have the Zingarian Cart. This basically lets you get a free reward round where the game will randomly select certain cards for you, and you get to pick one of the cards to add to your deck. And it costs cash to do this. So if you bring forward a bunch of money, each of your characters will get an option to choose a card, and it randomly determines which cards from their available decks that they'll have the opportunity to purchase. Then we have the middle one here, the Altar. This is where you can upgrade and transform your cards into more powerful versions. That's where you take it from its basic form to one of those 2 upgraded versions. And then we have the Armory. This is where you buy equipment. This is basically like Slay the Spire's items that you would earn as you went along. They tend to be, from my experience, they tend to be a little weaker than what you would expect in Slay the Spire. But this game kind of stretches out the content in a much longer format. And maybe they get stronger later, and I just haven't seen the really good stuff. But as you can see here, you've got 5 different categories. You've got weapon, armor, ring, potion, and this is for like pets. And then in the top left corner of each card, it shows you what slot it's going to go to, and it also highlights over here when I point at it which slot it belongs to. So Magnus here, who's currently selected, the only equipment he starts with is this Wolf Slayer weapon. So it gives him damage for slash damage, and a random hero gains 1 extra card at the start of combat. So if I chose the club, it would replace that. It would just disappear that card and replace it with the club, which would give me a damage for or a bonus for bash damage. So you make decisions here on what equipment you want, and you're limited to 1 per slot. So you can see each of the characters has 1 item that they're going to start with. Again, I'm not going to worry about this stuff for now. Lots of stuff possible in here, and some are worth more than others. But yeah, and you can also spend money to get a reroll. If you don't like the selection, you can spend a big wad of cash and get a different set of items that you'll start your run with. All right, and that's pretty much it. So we got 5 different spots you can go to. Add cards, remove cards, modify cards, get random upgrades, pick a card, and then buy equipment. All right, let's get into the actual gameplay. Let's just do a run. All right, so this is pretty familiar. We just have a node map. It's got different paths. We're trying to get to this position here. That's the Across Obelisk, and it's a map transition, which takes us to the next area, the next map. There are a lot of different things on this map. You notice here, 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 and here. These are all character events. And they have, with repeated play, you'll recognize which ones they are and kind of what the purpose of each is. But they're like mini quests. You'll get there and it'll say, all right, on the next map, you need to get this thing or do this thing. And you're basically committing to going to a particular place and doing a particular thing for a particular reward. I don't have them memorized. I don't remember them. But that's why they're kind of highlighted with an exclamation point. Then you got these other things. I don't remember what an Eldritch Rift is. I don't know if that like transports you somewhere or what. But like most games of this type, you can only move forward. You can't move backward on the map node. So we're here and it's showing me 3 possible positions. So let's just go ahead and pick one. I think I don't see anything particular in any direction I'm too worried about for this run. I don't recognize a lot of this stuff just automatically. Let's just go right down the middle path here. We got a main road rare event and then an uncommon event on that pathway. So let's go here first. Okay, hey, actual gameplay. Look at that. Gameplay begins at 21 minutes. Okay, so the game is really well produced. The access to information is very good. The interface is very good. You don't generally have to do more than one click to get all the details you need about any particular thing. And it's showing you really well the important information that you need to make your decisions. So at the top of the screen here, we have the sequence of turn order. So I've got 4 characters and we have 3 opponents. We're going up against sheep. Angry sheep. And if I right click on them, I can go to a character sheet for the sheep. Shows me they have 41 hit points, 12 speed. They have no modifiers for their damage or healing. They, for resistances, have a bit of blunt resist, because probably all that woolly fur. So they've got a 20% resistance to blunt, meaning they'll take 20% less damage from a basic hit for a blunt weapon. But slash and pierce will get through as normal. They're susceptible to fire. They have minus 10% resist to fire. So catching them on fire is a good thing. Using cold on them is, if harder, they have 20% resist to cold. They're also susceptible to shadow. All right, so I want to concentrate on fire magic and any of the basic standard damage that's not blunt. I want to not use blunt on them if I can. So important to know, no particular special abilities or anything else. They're fairly straightforward. So you can see their hit point bars. We can see the turn order, and it's showing it in speed rating. So our rogue ranger here has got 21 speed, so he's first. Then our warrior, then all 3 of the sheep are going to go one after the other if nothing changes. And then our elementalist and our cleric. So I have the starting cards. We draw 5 cards for our characters to start. You can see here it says +5. That's telling you how many cards you're going to draw at the beginning of your turn. We have 10 cards left in our deck. We had 15 total. We can look at our deck of cards. That's what's remaining in the deck, so I have an idea of what I might draw if I draw extra cards for some reason. So that's all good. We can see the numbers. This is actually pretty important, and I'll show you why here in a bit, but we got all sorts of info on here. Cards we vanish, that would be one-use cards where you use it and it's out of the combat entirely. Our discard pile for normal use cards, character sheet for our guy, our levels and traits, our equipment, our perks, all the info's here if you need it. Okay, so let's do something. So we've got some choices here. One of the first things you always want to do is make sure you scan the lower sections of the cards, specifically for things that say something like damage based on how many cards are in your hand, how many are in your discard, and so on. You want to be very careful about realizing you have that kind of a card before you play anything else, which we'll probably see with some of our magic guys. So we've got aim shot, 2 cost, 15 damage of the pierce variety. They don't have any pierce resist, and it's any monster. As opposed to front monster only. Front monster only, any monster. So when I point at a card, notice right across the top of the backs of these sheep, it's showing the damage that's going to be applied. They don't have any kind of resist. I'm allowed to shoot any of them at my choice, and it's going to do 15 damage. Whereas this one only shows damage for the front one, because it's a front monster only, and it's a melee slice attack, so it's going to do 9 damage. And of course, the cost is important. So I only have 4 energy with which to cast cards. So I have to decide what I'm going to do. We got our 2 warrior types in front. They're going to go first. That means we're not likely to slow anything. So we're going to have a round where all 3 of these guys are going to go. The other important consideration is what their action's going to be. There are certain abilities, certain items, certain cards that I can use that will show me what their action is going to be, so I can make decisions based on that info. Right now, I'm not going to have access to any of it. Likely, with these guys, it's going to be attacking the front guy, though. That's going to be the most common thing that they're going to do. They probably have some other things, but the most likely thing to happen is he's going to get hit. So my only defensive card I've got is this one. It costs 0. It's Deflect. Allows me to draw a card, and it's going to gain me 6 block. So let's go ahead and use that. That got us the Rupture card. Front monster, deal 12 range damage, apply 2 bleed, and also slow it by 1. That would put it equal to the mage, and I think the mage will go first in a tie. I think the character gets the advantage in ties. So that would be a good one. It's not going to get as much raw damage, but it's going to do 12, and then it's going to apply 2 bleed, and bleed causes them to lose 1 hit point per charge of bleed at the start of the enemy's turn, and then 1 charge gets removed. So it's going to be 12, it's going to be then 2 damage on the sheep's turn, and then 1 damage the turn after that. So it's actually 15 damage, it just is a delayed damage on the bleed effects. So for a damage for 2 against 2, as long as we're losing the ability to hit any target we want, but it's a pretty good deal. Plus the slow is going to be very helpful if we can get that thing to go behind. So let's go ahead and do this one on the front monster. And it moved him all the way down. Really? He went from 12 to 10? How's that work? Oh, never mind. It's -2 speed per slow charge. It's not a 1-to-1. It's a 2-to-1. Well, awesome. Well, that removes the problem. So we've pushed one of the sheep to the back. All of our guys are going to get to go before he gets to go. Okay, perfect. Next up, I've only got 2 points of energy left. I could do 18 points of damage to that front monster, which would be a better deal than the aim shot, only doing 15 for my 2 energy. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not too worried. They're all exactly the same critter. We're going to focus all of our damage and try to remove this guy if possible. Bum, bum, bum. All right, next up, we've got our warrior. He's almost all front monster damage. He does have enrage. This little burn symbol here is the vanish symbol, means it's a 1 use. So once we use it, we get the benefit, but then the card is removed from play into our vanish pile. Oh, I don't need to use it. I'm going to keep it. We'll hold it for another card draw, because I've only got 3 points worth of energy to spend, and I've got 4 available. Let's go ahead and do this. This is going to slow all the enemies down as well. So now we're going to go, all of our characters are going to go, and then all of these guys will go. I need 11 damage to finish this guy off. Actually, I only need 9 damage, because he's going to take 2 when he starts his turn, and he'll die. So, if we just do this, he'll die at the beginning of his turn. Problem is, I don't have any way of doing damage to the other sheep. So it's going to take both of these to kill the first one, and then I can apply this one to the second one. And that'll be the best I can do currently. Let's go ahead and do that. And turn. Next up. Okay, this is our Elementalist. So we've got a combination of fire and ice. The frost is less effective against them. Notice the card says 15 damage, but when I highlight it's only showing 13 damage. That's because of their 20% resist to cold, because of those woolly coats they're wearing. And then we have charged battery. Deal 2. Excuse me. We're going to do 2 electrical damage. We're also going to apply 2 spark, which lowers their resistance to later electrical damage. And then we gain an energy at the beginning of our next turn. that particular symbol, as opposed to the circular orange symbol here. When you see this on a card, you get that energy immediately. If you see this symbol, it means you have a charge of this, and at the beginning of your next turn, you'll earn an extra energy for that turn. So you're banking an energy forward, basically. So it's free, essentially, because I'm going to get that energy back next turn. 4 points. Unfortunately, our frost bolts are the most damage, which we're probably going to do anyway. I think a combo of, what is that? Oh, not quite enough. They'll take 5, and they'll take 13. That's 18 out of the 19 I need to kill that guy. So I'll have to do 2, 0, 0, or I can drop a charge on him. Let's go ahead and do that one, and we'll charge battery. And then we'll do that to finish him. 1 point left. Let's go ahead and charge again. And fire blast. Okay. Our last guy, the cleric. I don't think the cleric's going to be able to do much against him. Let's go ahead and do foresight. So this symbol is the one that lets you see what he's going to do. So we'll go ahead and apply that. He is going to have a tantrum. He's going to hit a random hero for 8 mind damage. That's unfortunate. So I won't be able to get everybody blocked up. I could get 2 more people blocked. He's going to do how much? He's going to do 8. So this is kind of like the energy where they both do the same thing. This one is immediate, so 5 immediate block. Shield, though, is charges for the next turn. So he'll gain 7 block, essentially, next turn. So it's a nice amount, but it's not going to do a full block. And I can't do enough damage to actually drop this guy. So we'll go ahead and throw on our more susceptible characters. Don't need to heal, and sure, we'll Holy Strike him. Alright, time for the angry sheep. Alright, so we lost 3 hit points. We have, I believe, 4 free hit point heal between combats, so we're fine. I don't need to worry about healing that or anything. He's going to die pretty quickly. Expert Tracker, another one of those cards that get burned. Look at 5 cards, discard any of them, and grant 1 extra card draw. So this is helpful in that I could put it on any hero. So I could give this to my mage, for example, if I really wanted my mage to pull out a fireball or some other particular card, because it would let the hero look at the next 5 cards at the top of their deck and then discard any that they choose so that they can improve their chances of getting specific cards they might want. And it also grants them 1 extra card draw when their turn comes up. And it costs 0. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and do it. I mean, we're going to kill this guy before he gets another turn, so it's not going to matter. But, you know, go for it. I'm not going to need an elemental ward. I'm not going to need to transfer energy twice. Yeah, so let's get rid of those. All right, we have Adrenaline, another burn card. I suffer a fatigue. I gain 1 less energy per charge at the start of my next turn. Basically, this lets me transfer energy. So I'm going to gain 2 for immediate use, but then I'm going to lose 1 next turn. So there's not going to be a next turn, so we'll go ahead and burn it. We'll put the Hunter's Mark on the bad guy. So this mark makes them take 1 extra damage per charge, and we're going to put 3 charges on them. So now, when I do aim shot, he's taking 18 instead of 15, and that's because of the mark. And again, you can see all of the applied bonuses here at the bottom and get the information you might need on what they do, so you can make your decisions. So his next action is going to be the Ruminant Bite. Front hero only. Deal 5 pierce damage, repeated twice. So it's going to do 15 total damage in 3 different strikes. But he's not going to... Well, he goes after these 2. Unless we get another slow action with this guy. Because we don't have one here. No, but we can already kill him. So it's not going to matter. Alright, there you go. We got our 4 points of healing. And I mentioned in the city phase that we had that one tent we could go to. This is what it would look like if we chose to pay that money. It would do this kind of an upgrade screen. So each character would get 3 cards to choose from. You also, depending on how quickly you end a combat, at the top of the screen it was showing kind of a I don't know how to describe it, kind of a half wheel section where it shows kind of a timer on how many rounds have gone by. The faster you finish a fight, the better a performance bonus you achieve. I think excellent is like you finish it in like 1 or 2 rounds, and you earn 50% extra money, 50% extra. This is money. This is, I think, experience, and then a bonus to the card tier that you're getting to choose from here. So we got a +1 card tier upgrade. So just looking at this kind of at a high level, we have Rapid Fire, which is an upgraded card. We have Flare, which is an upgraded card. We have Bad Augury, an upgraded card. And I can tell that from the blue color here and the gold color. So if we look at Rapid Fire, for example, this is the base version. This is the... It's an uncommon card in general, but this is the base. This is... I don't know what to call the color change. There's the blue and there's the gold, and they're actually equivalent. They just increase the bonuses in different ways. So we get to choose. So, and if we don't like any of the cards and we don't want to bloat our deck, we can choose a shard reward instead of choosing one of the cards. So that will happen on occasion where you'll just look at the cards and say, nope, those don't really fit into my meta, my build. And I don't want to take junk cards and add them into my deck. So I'll just take the cash payout. All right. So Rapid Fire looks kind of fun. Any monster we like, so it's not specific to the front monster, deals 9 pierce damage, and it repeats twice. So it's actually 27 damage applied for 3 energy, which is, I've seen that number quite a bit. You can probably do more than that with 3 different 1 energy cards, but, you know, that puts a pretty good amount of damage on a single target, and especially when you can pick which target. So it's important to be able to hit back targets, not just the front target. And then Flare, 2 costs, deals 15 fire damage immediately, and then applies 3 burn, which is kind of like poison, where they take burn damage at the beginning of the round, and then it ticks down the amount of burn that they have. And Bad Augury. So that one, isn't that a negative? I mean, they literally call it Bad Augury. He deals 2 shadow damage and then applies 4 for the sight, which is how many rounds it's going to tell you. Or is it rounds or slots? Because some enemies have like 3 and 4 cards that it'll show. I forget. I think it might be both. All right, so let's see. For you, Headbutt, discard 1 card, deal 2 blunt damage plus X blunt. X equals your hand times 3. So that's the thing I mentioned earlier. Always scan your cards when you start a round to make sure if you have any that say equals your card count, your discard pile count, whatever. You always, always, always want to make sure you look at that and understand that before you start playing anything else. Because you'll have a habit of saying, oh, I got my adrenaline, I get more energy. And you immediately flick that out, which lessens the value of cards like this. So always be careful to scan this, scan for this kind of a card where you have variables based on how many cards you have. All right, because that could change the sequence or order of play you want to handle. So, front monster only, though. 1 energy. And let's say, so you have to discard 1 card. So you start with 5 usually. So you'd be down to 4. And I don't know if it counts the card you're playing in that your hand calculation there. I haven't actually paid attention enough to know if it counts the card being played as it being part of it, the equation. So would that be 2 blunt plus 12? If it's if X equals 4? We'd have to take it and try it. Defend is pretty straightforward. 1 energy, self only, gain 16 block. So that's immediate block for until it either gets absorbed by damage incoming or his next round starts. And then Blood Rain gives him an opportunity to do the 1 bleed globally and also remove or apply the wet effect, which increases lightning damage, prevents burn charges, and removes burn. I think we'll go with, I do like him being able to defend. Yeah, let's just take a standard defend card. He's got a few. It's probably a junk card, but it's fine. Let's go ahead and take the Rapid Fire. There's a 0-cost Poison Dart. 0-cost cards are always great, of course. Just like in Slay the Spire, most games of this type, the characters and the cards they have available, there are certain meta paths within them. So the poison path is one of them. Do I want to try to go heavy in this run on poison? He can also do a bard kind of a run where he has various musical type cards that apply various effects and require other musical cards to be in play in order to be used effectively. So sprint is just himself. He gains speed. He's already usually the fastest person on the board, so giving him more speed, I haven't seen a real value in giving him more speed. So I think I'll probably take that 3 energy on that one is a little rough. Let's just take the poison card. Nah, let's take rapid fire. I think that opportunity for putting 27 damage on a back row enemy is pretty important. All right, 2-cost flare, elemental ward, and ember storm. Ember storm is all monsters, so that's good. 3 fire damage, then apply burn to everybody. The flare is an upgraded version, though. 2 cost on a single monster. Sure. And then Shadow Mend. Play on any hero. You suffer 4. And then apply 2 dark resist to them. And also heal 12. All right. So you're taking a bit of damage in order to heal your buddy. Or another Holy Smite. I'm not taking the Holy Smite. Let's just take the Bad Augury. All right, next is an event. The rare event, the Lost Sheep. You see a small sheep running towards you and away from a group of sheep that look angry. The poor sheep hides behind you, seeking shelter from the other sheep that were chasing her. And you notice that this sheep has a necklace with her name, Betty. On the necklace, it also says the owner's address is Eastern Farmland. The other sheep are likely to attack you if you don't walk away from Betty. You can try to return her to her owner or ignore it. Combat! Confront the sheep, and then return Betty to her owner. After the fight, you will have to cross the fields to the north to be able to return Betty to her owner. All right, so Eastern Farmland. How many? 3 sheep again? 3 sheep again. 46 versus 41. They are slightly different. They're also a different coloration. Ah, we got black sheep. What's the variation here? Blunt, cold, fire, lightning. That looks relatively the same. What's your deal? Might be just the... It looks like most of this info is pretty close. If there's a difference, I'm not sure what it is. But the cards they have available, the attack types might be different. So that's probably an effective adjustment. All right, I got no cards to worry about that I have to consider cards in my hand having a multiplicative effect of some kind. So we've got our draw 1 and gain 6 for 0 cost. We've got our adrenaline for extra energy this round. I got 4 points that I need to spend for everything else. So depending on what card I draw here, I may or may not need to use the adrenaline. So let's get that out first. Oh, well, yeah, that's 2 cost. So now the adrenaline might be useful. And again, they're going to go before my other 2 characters go, unless we get the slow. And the only slow chance I have is with Magnus here. So if we happen to get his Captain's Howl, that'll get those guys pushed back. So some cards have a tag on them that makes them, I think it's innate. That means that that card will always be on the top of the deck, basically, when you start a combat. This one is not, so I got a roughly 1/3 chance that I'm going to have this in my hand when we start. That's the only thing I've got that's going to change the order. So, might happen, might not. Let's do... I can guarantee we can kill one of these if we just concentrate on the front, limiting how many attacks we'll have incoming. So I think we'll just do that. So let's go ahead and do the adrenaline. All right, good job, Andrin. Yeah, we did not get it, but we've got a lot of defend, so hopefully they've got attack him options. So I'll probably do defend, defend, and rend. I don't have anything that's going to draw new cards or anything exotic, so defend. Do I need another 16? 16's a pretty good number. What are the chances they're both going to attack him? Really, I'd just be trading 10 damage. I'm not going to drop anything this round anyway, so yeah, let's go defend. All right, sheep, you're up. What you got? All heroes. Well, that sucks. Woolly shell. He gained block. He's got 11 for this next round, and then 11 at the start of his next round after that. So he's going to have 11 for basically 2 rounds. That's kind of funny. But he's also got 7 bleed, which that block is not going to affect, which is shown right here. So I only need to do 20 points of damage to kill him if I can get through the block. We might just concentrate on the back row guy for now with the rest of my characters, because all 4 of my characters are now going to get turns before they get to go again. So I'll try to kill this guy with as much of my range damage as I can, and then we'll look at blocking this guy. Maybe we can get an augury on him at some point. Okay, so we do have one of those X equals your hand, so it's my hand times 0.5. So it's going to do cold damage and electrical damage. And again, I don't know if it counts the card I'm going to use. I might use this just to see what the number looks like, but it's going to go away. It's a 1-use card. So let's go ahead and do it. It can go on any monster, so you can see it's showing the 3 cold and 3 electrical damage that guy's going to take, whereas if I did it on this one, it's just going to remove 7 of the block points. So we'll do that, and we'll see how much damage it actually does. So the 3 and 3, I had 6 cards, so it was counting, I believe, the card that was being played. So, all right, do I need to use my mana gem? I've got 6 points that I could use. Yeah, sure, why not? All right. Good round. Next up, our healer. So we've lost, what, 6 points? A little bit of on each. Divine Grace. So again, X equals your hand. Always consider that first. Important to get that out first. That will dispel 1. That gets rid of the curse effects, the negative effects that the enemies put on me. So I would be able to check down here what guys I have that might have curse effects. It could be very important to remove one of those, like if somebody stacked up like 10 poison on me or something. It's going to heal X, which X equals my hands. So we're going to heal for 5 points. Or 6, apparently. We're getting some bonus. And again, when I highlight the card, you'll notice over right in the middle of my character portraits, it's showing how much healing they're going to receive. Front guy is going to get 0 because he didn't take any damage. And we do have the augury card. So let's go ahead and let's throw this out. It's a 1-use, but we're not going to go another round most likely. So we'll get you healed up. We'll actually heal both of my characters. And then I don't think it matters. Well, it doesn't cost me anything. All right, so we've gotten rid of his immediate block. So I just need to do the 17 points of damage with my next 2 characters, which will be pretty easy. Because he... Oh, never mind. He re-upped his right then, huh? That's interesting. I didn't think he would re-up that until the start of his turn. Huh. Alright. Well, he's going to do front hero, deal 5 damage, repeat twice. I don't think he'll still be alive then, but now I have to do 28 total damage. Alright. No problem. So let's do that on you. He's got the howl, which is going to push the sheep back behind my other 2 characters again, so we want to keep that. I don't think he's going to need the defense, but we'll keep one of them. Yeah, it's fine. All right, let's put a mark on that guy. We got 1 whole point left. Should have done that earlier. Maybe we won't get through that. That's okay. So we are going to Captain's Howl, which pushed him back in the turn order, so he's guaranteed now to get killed. Except I have intercept, barricade, defend. Well, I guess he is going to be around at least through the end of his turn. The Elementalist will probably get it. All right, well, strike him, and then we'll do all heroes get 11 block. And we know we've got damage coming in on our front heroes, so he's now up to 27 block. That's only going to do 15 damage, so we're fine. And we'll put some more defense on you, I guess. Alright, what did we get? I got transmission. This is a good way of handing energy off to another character. So typically I will hand energy off to the cleric. I mean, these early fights are super easy, but we will start not too far in the future taking damage, and keeping the cleric boosted and buffed as high as possible is going to be critical. So at a certain point, it's going to be more important that I have energy on the cleric than I do on the elementalist. So that's pretty much what that's for. It's a one use for this version of the card. I can pump any hero, give them 2 energy at the start of their turn, and also an extra card draw. So it's a dual benefit to make sure he gets heals in his hand and then has plenty of energy to cast them. In this circumstance, shouldn't make a difference. He's going to take 7 bleed damage at the start of his turn, and pointing here, it shows he's only got 2 hit points beyond the 7 bleed damage, so any damage is going to kill him. So. And everybody was healed. Another important consideration. Oh, I wanted to show the counter at the top. I forgot to mention it. Another important consideration is you might want to delay the fight or delay the damage to give your healer an extra turn to heal people up, because I'm only going to heal 4 points at the end of the round. So if I've got a character down like 30 points, it could be beneficial to not kill the last enemy as long as I know I can counter his damage. Let another round go by so the healer has another chance to boost the characters, because you carry your damage forward from fight to fight. So another important consideration. All right, looking at these, looks like Andron here got some pretty good upgrades. That is a common card. Ice Shot. The corrupted version. All right. So it's a single use, deals 20 damage times their X equals your slash damage times 0.5. Okay, so it's going to do both. And then it also applies X chill, which is lowers their cold resistances. Oh, also -1 speed per 5 charges. I don't think I'd be able to get 5 on them at my current level. So, interesting. He also has Feint, discard X cards, gain X defense and X shield, which is the delayed defense, the delayed block. X equals discarded card times 6. Oh, okay. So for each card you discard, you'd gain 6 immediate block and 6 shield, which is block that you get at the start of your next round. And then Stone Skin. Self only, 1 cost, gain 12 block, 1 reinforce. That is a resistance to the physical damage, slash, blunt, and pierce. Resistance is plus 30%. So it would give me 1 round of 30% resistance on those types of damage. And it also gives me 4 points of thorns, which is strike back. So if somebody hits me, they take 4 damage. And then I remove 1 charge. So Stone Skin's pretty cool too. He's got some good choices. Heal, Healing Rain, and another Foresight. I'm not going to take another Foresight card. Healing Rain, it doesn't seem important, but if you're on a map where there's lots of burn, you want to make sure you have numerous opportunities to do the wet effect, which this does. This applies the 1 wet effect, because that reduces burn charges, or it prevents burn charge, a new burn charge from being applied to you. but it also completely removes burn from the target. So if I had like 8 points of burn stacked up on my characters, one cast of this would globally remove the burn from all of my characters. It also remove burn from the enemies because it's applying to everything with the global effect. But super important. And then it gives 1 point of hit point regeneration, which isn't much. I mean, that's literally 1 hit point. But the applying of the wet effect, depending on the map you're on and the enemies you're facing, could be really, really important. And this is just a standard heal. 2 costs for 10 hit points. So, Headbutt came up again. Blood Rain again. Holy Slash front monster. 5/4 holy damage. And then apply Sanctify, which is like Holy Resist. This is really dependent on the Elementalist dropping. Well, the additional bonus is in combination with the Elementalist kind of having an ice focus. Because Andrin himself doesn't have a lot of ability to apply the chill effect. An overclock effect. Overclock, gain 1 and 4. So that when it says OC, that's overclock. It's not mentioning it on the pop-up. Usually it mentions all that stuff. Huh. I'm surprised it's not explaining the OC, the overclock. This basically, from memory, means that at the time you cast this, you have the opportunity to put additional energy into it, which gains you the bonus. That is pretty good, though. I think I'll take the overshot. Or, yeah, the ice shot. Well, do I? It's a single use. These early fights don't go very long, but we're going to get tougher monsters. We're also going to get kind of mini boss and then boss fights are going to go quite a long time. So having something you can cast over and over again and just shuffle through your deck versus a one-shot deal can be an important consideration in the deck meta. Let's go Stone Skin. I'm interested in the ice shot, but I think I'm going to go Stone Skin. Let's go defensive for a bit for him. Prismatic's Field, grant 2 to all heroes. Insulate, fire, cold, and lightning resist bonus. Yeah, let's take that one. And I don't like any of the choices here. And I'm not super excited about these either. I'm going to forego those ones. All right, let's move on. So now we have a branching choice. They're both going to lead to the same event here, and they're both just random events. This one actually shows me that it's the farm corral. It said we were going to have to go... so the Lost Sheep, Eastern Farmland. Is it highlighting it on the screen somewhere? Well, that says Betty's house. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to make that movement right there. Huh.